What up, world? 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 This your main man, I am DJ Double Dose, man, coming at you once again, man, with another episode of Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. And look, man, we got a lot to talk about. Y'all already see the caption. You already know what time it is. It's Bama, Georgia, man. Look, I told y'all as this year grows, we're going to continue to have more and more guests, and we're going to continue to keep this thing rocking, man, because, look, I don't want to be on here sitting around here, just me, myself, the only one sitting around here talking about Bama, talking about Georgia. I thought, what other way than to bring in one of my partners, one of my Bama fans that actually is not like some of y'all. He's actually level-headed, and he actually has a righteous opinion, man. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring on my partner, man, BB, man. Let me go ahead and bring him on in so we can holler at y'all, man. What up, BB? What's going on, brother?
What it do, baby?
Man, what's up, man? You already know, man. We in here, man.
Sure.
And listen, man, I couldn't do this no other way than to bring you on, man. You know, we talk ball all the time. You know, that's one thing that we do. You know what I'm saying? So we pretty crafty. We pretty a little bit intelligent with that thing, just a little bit. You know what I'm talking
about? Absolutely. Straight up.
So, you know, I was going to begin the show, of course, you know, as the title say, Bama and Georgia preview, but college football sells itself, my brother. It sells itself, man. So
always.
I just want your take first, and we're going to dive into it, man. What do you think about what's going on at UNLV with the quarterback? My man said, look, I got y'all to 3-0. I ain't got my money. I'm out.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, man?
Man, my guy should have gotten some paperwork signed, first of all. You know, man, it's kind of sketchy, man. An assistant coach said they're gonna give you $100,000 if you win the starting gig, and you win the gig, you got reports I saw about $3,000 of that. So
his relocation, all he got was his relocation fee.
Right. They paid for him to move from Holy Cross to UNLV. So from Holy Cross to Sin City cost $3,000 if anybody was trying to figure that move out. But man, it's crazy if that you got guys out here making those types of promises, man, and not fulfilling their end of the deal. You can't blame a kid for saying, man, I'm not gonna put myself through this no more. You know, you guys sold me a bill of goods, man. It didn't come through on your end of the deal. I did everything I was supposed to do. I moved. I won a starting gig. I'm your leading rusher. You know, got UNLV.
It ain't even close. I mean, he's leading rusher by like almost what? Well, I think we saw it was 39-20 by like almost 20 carries. Yeah. Like
something crazy like that, man. And you know, they're 3-0 for the first time in 40 years or something.
Cunningham. Like Cunningham. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, bro balling. You know, he's for UNLV, man. He's worth the money. But you know, you also got to think, man, you didn't get the paperwork. It's also UNLV football, bro. Like, did you really think that these folks paying to play? You know, they don't care nothing about football. It's been 40 years since they've been 3-0, and they're excited about that. Them folks ain't got that bag for you, man. So I don't know, bro. Bro might be kind of slow. I don't know, man.
And you know what? Like we said, that was kind of reported. You know, a lot of people have had different thoughts about it, but it's kind of one of those things where both people are wrong, but they both are wrong, and they both are chirping, and they both are arguing. But BB, ain't nobody showing no paperwork. Like if UNLV trying to come out and say all money was paid for services rendered, a man trying to say, hey man, they ain't gave me nothing but my $3,000 for this relocation fee.
Right.
And then all of this just started last night. Here we are at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on the East Coast today, and we done heard a whole lot of chirping, but ain't nobody produced no paperwork. Nothing. Ain't no lawyer done showed up talking about, hey man, hey, my client got this, my client got that. So we just got a whole bunch of chirping. Ain't no paperwork been produced by nobody. And everybody, you know, you got the anti-NIL crew. They all like, oh, this was wrong with college football. Oh, NIL messed shit up. Hey man, just use your real life experiences. If you went to a job and they told you after your damn probationary period, You were supposed to get 100 fucking grand,
Right.
and then a month after that 90 days, you ain't got your damn 100 grand. Is you gonna still keep working that job? I'm sure you would not.
Out of there. Out of
you
there.
Out of there.
But I done left jobs for less than that. So, definitely I'm out of there, man. If they don't fulfill that type of deal, it's to your
what the hell is $3 grand in Vegas?
Right.
What the hell?
Exactly. They got it, man. And to your point about the paperwork, man, a day and a half later, if you paid somebody $100,000, like here go the receipts, man. We paid it. We paid
even if you paid the deposit, even if all you're gonna produce for us, the media, because you looking bad as a university, even if you say, hey, here's the 3 that we gave him for the relocation fee, here's the 25 or 50 that we gave him for the deposit, something, all of this saying that we just did what we were supposed to do, but ain't showed nothing. Nah, bro, that ain't how that ain't how this thing work. You know what I'm saying? So, and this man been, I think he got there late, so he didn't even get there in the summer. Didn't he get there like right after, after the in the fall, winter quarter, whatever you want to call it. So
yeah, he did.
Like he been that long, man. He don't owe them no loyalty
at all. And man,
he was paid to play.
And if he came in and won the job from Holy Cross and just in fall camp, they ain't had nobody no way. So you ain't paying nobody already. So any NIL money that you got, you need to pay homeboy.
And even if you was trying to be shady the way that it's perceived that you are at this point, hey man, he done went 3-0, bro. Or even if it was a lie, so to speak, like, man, I really want to give him that bread. No, but I just want to see what's gonna happen. Man, at this point, he got y'all 3-0. Y'all being talked about as one of the teams that can get an at-large bid, you know what I'm saying, for the playoffs. So, like,
right,
it's not like this one of them dead seasons where if y'all mess around and go undefeated, nothing can come from it.
Right.
You actually could legitimately make it to the damn playoffs.
You got a chance to be in the tournament, man. That's all
you had.
Because he out. That's right. With him gone, they're going to lose Saturday. So
they claim the guy behind him has a better arm. That's what they claim. If he had a better arm, he would have been the starter.
If he was good enough to be the guy, he would be the guy.
He would be the guy.
So simple as that, bro.
So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, man. I mean, because like I said, that wasn't even on the sheet to talk about. That just kind of just fell in our lap. You know what I'm talking
about? Yeah, we could not talk about that though.
You can't leave that alone. So as we pivot, before we get into the meat of the whole matter.
Yep.
Looking at the way, there's a couple ways I want to go with Colorado, but I go with one way first. Looking at the way that Colorado is playing this year, do you think, and looking at the Big 12 now, at first it kind of was like, could they really win the Big 12? But when you look at the way Oklahoma State has not really impressed, Cam Rising is now hurt at Utah.
Yep.
I mean, is it too far to the left to think that they could actually pull this shit off?
Bro, it's wide open, man. They finding ways to win. I watched the and of course I was watching Bama at the same time, but had Colorado and Nebraska on another TV, and Nebraska was, beating them to death, but they kept playing. Yep. Second half, Nebraska didn't score, I don't believe. Well, maybe they scored one touchdown, I don't know, but Colorado kept playing. And I told one of my partners then, I said, bro, this is the most impressive thing I've seen Colorado do. Being down 28-3 on the road, you ain't going to win. You know you're not going to win. You just not, they didn't have anything for them guys that night, but they kept playing. So all of that to say, when you got a team that fights like that, they believe in their coach, obviously.
You clearly got the best quarterback in the conference.
You got the best quarterback in the conference.
Best
player in the country. Travis Hunter he amazing, man. He's not even human. But as long as they can keep Shedeur healthy, which is a big question mark with that O-line. Man, O-line is terrible. He holds the ball.
It's a little better than last year, not by much, just
slightly. He taking 2 or 3 fewer hits, but he holds the ball so long, man. It gets hit so hard. He doesn't avoid contact well enough for me. and his O-line does not do him any favor. So if he goes down, the season goes down. But as long as they keep him healthy, man, they can beat anybody in the Big 12. BYU looked good Saturday night against Kansas State, who I thought Kansas State would probably be the team to beat in the Big 12. And they still very well could be. But, I mean, the way BYU handled them, I mean, why not say BYU is in it? Why not say Colorado's got a chance, man? So it's wide open.
And I like Utah going into the season, but again, Cam Rising, once again, he hurt. The coach ain't never out in the forefront with telling the truth because he forever lying about the boy. He lied about the boy status all last year. So it's kind of one of them. You don't know if it's week to week, day to day, whatever the hell it is. I mean, you have no way of knowing the status of him. And if like you said, Colorado can continue to build the way they are. My next small question about them was, because I got my thoughts about it. How long can he keep this up, man? How long can Travis keep this playing both sides of the ball with as many snaps as he's playing?
So that's the thing, man. I was saying it's coaching malpractice, man, to run that boy out there 100+ plays every game on both sides of the ball, man.
From himself, man.
Like it's he can do it. Yes, he's an elite receiver at this level. Yes, he's an elite cornerback at this level. But at some point, man, you like you said, you got to protect him from himself, man. That ain't good, man, to be taking 100 snaps a game. And like, you know, we 4 games into the season. I mean, what is he going to be looking like in game 9, game 10? And if you lose,
especially if they in contention, they're going to need. It's like, so at some point, at what number is the number for you to be like, okay, we're in this? Like, you really realize that you're in this, and it's like, hey, we got to kind of scale him back because we gonna need him down the stretch. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna become realistic if they can continue to win. The goal is gonna be more and more realistic. Like, hey man, we could mess around and get to this Big 12 title game, and if we do, that the playoff right next door.
Yeah,
if we can get to the Big 12 title game. So I guess for me, my thing is I'm enjoying watching him, but I just need them to just kind of like, hey man, scale it back a little bit because you're gonna need him. Clearly, you're gonna need him. He's your best player. Like, because even when you look at the play, when you look at what happened in the game, how it even went into overtime, they damn near triple teamed him. That's the only reason my buddy was 1-on-1 was because everybody went to Travis. They're like, hey, which I applaud them because how many times have we sat back? I use Bama for example. I remember the years that last year when y'all had Sims and y'all had Coop. It was just like, yo, triple team Coop, please, because you know that's where he's going with the ball.
That's where the ball's going.
It's like you know that's where he's going with the ball, man. Just take him out, and it was just like so they did the right thing. It's like they went to Travis and forced him to go in another direction. So. With all of that being said, it's like, hey, man, they're going to need him, especially down the stretch. And it's like, at some point, you got to kind of like, he's 20-some years old. I mean, we all been 20-some years old. You feel like you invincible and you immortal. But, hey, man.
Like, bro, he needs some help to protect himself, man. Now, I got to ask you, if you were going to take him off of one unit, would you play him exclusively at receiver or would you do it exclusively at corner?
I'll do it exclusive at corner.
Yep. That's what I think, man. I mean,
because look, I'm not a coach. I'm not about to go. I don't want anybody to beat me up in the comment like, man, you don't know. But I mean,
right.
We haven't really seen him and run the route tree. We haven't really seen him run the route. We haven't really seen him run so many different routes and so many different route combos. We really hadn't seen, not saying that he can't do it.
Right.
We just hadn't seen it. It hasn't been asked of him to do it that way. But so for me, I'd rather see him at corner and then just splash him in on offense as needed. Because they got a couple wide receivers that are playing fine. You know what I'm saying? So it's like splash him in as needed on offense, but mainly I would have him at corner. That's just
Yeah.
that's just me.
No,
That's just me.
I agree with you, man. I think that I think he's elite as a corner.
Mhm.
You know, and I mean projecting to the next level too. Like
Mhm.
he's obviously an elite college wide receiver, but I think on Sundays, man, he's really just a dime a dozen type of guy at receiver.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he all pro as a corner.
At the corner.
Probably right now today, if you took him to the NFL, he'd be
Yeah, he
close to
would
being
be
an all pro corner.
if they knew. Well, I mean, the NFL gonna humble him anyway because they're not gonna let him do that shit. You already know when
Yep,
they draft him,
straight
they
up.
gonna be like, look, we might give you a package or two, but that's it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like we might give that's it. You whichever way they draft him, if they feel like, hey, you're gonna be a wide receiver one for us, and you might throw you in the corner. But if you're gonna be number one corner for us, we give you a package or two at wide receiver. But that's
right.
that's gonna be about it. We're not
That's
about
it.
to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got too many Justin Jeffersons, Jamar Chases, and so forth and so forth. It's so
Yeah.
many elite wide. Like, hey man, we need you more for that than
Yep.
anything else. Because I mean, it ain't really that many lockdown corners now in the league. So
Yep.
if I draft you as the potential of being that, that's what I want.
That's what you got to be. Yep.
That's what I
Straight
want.
up.
That's what I
Straight
want. I
up.
don't really, you know. I mean, you might give me a look like, hey, do like how Dion used to be. Hey, we'll give you a bone. We'll put you on kick return.
Yep.
So I on kick return. You get your little feel on offense. Get you a couple of little plays on kick return, and then we gonna call it a day, man. So
Simple as that, man.
so those were a couple of questions I had to ask for you, man, to get you warmed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As we get into it, man. So we all know Kirby has had a terrible go at it versus Bama. He has, and
Yep.
I'm of the opinion of can he figure out whatever it is to get that mojo off his back. So going into it, the first question I ask you, I'm asking you your opinion on the Georgia side first. What is it that you think that Georgia needs to be able to do in order to come in here and play the type of game they want to play?
Man, that's a great question. So, Georgia don't have to do anything but be Georgia. And, you know, I think that they got the guys.
Right.
Kirby can coach. You know, we all know that you don't win 42 straight regular season games, 2 of the last 3 national championships if you don't know how to coach. So,
Right.
you know, that's the one thing that I think that that's pretty obvious that I think they need to do. Don't change up too much. They've got to find, and they've not done it so far. They've got to find somebody to step up into that Ladd McConkey and somebody step up into that Brock Bowers role. You know,
Right.
they may not have a guy that has one-to-one talent equal to Bowers, but you know, it may be 2 or 3 guys that can kind of fill that space that Bowers did, and you know, that's a safety blanket, man, safety net that Beck had and that Bennett had before him, where you know it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, or whatever. I'm looking for Bowers. I'm looking for McConkey. They're gonna be open. You know, they're gonna give me a chance, and
they're gonna have to sit down in that zone and get open.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have that right now, and certainly, man, with the type of talent that they got some kids that can step into that role. So they can find that. You know, ideally, I think they probably would have wanted to have found that before coming into Bryant Denny. But you know, absent of not having found that already, you know, they're gonna have to do it on the fly, man. But be Georgia.
And I'm gonna say for me with them, I think that they need to get their money's worth out of NTN. Like you went out there and you got him, and so far this year, I ain't gonna say he's gonna ghost, but he hasn't been what like when the announcement came out that he was going to Georgia, everybody was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he literally was Florida's best player last year, and it was like, oh shit. So for me, as good as Beck can be or has shown throughout his tenure, I think it's more so about can they control the game on the ground than anything else, because they haven't really shown that so far this year. Like they really haven't They really haven't shown their ground game, and if there ever was a game, because look, they got that lollipop schedule last year. They ain't got it this year.
Nah,
With them having Bama, Ole Miss, Texas,
Texas.
and Tennessee.
Yeah,
So this just the first. You know what I'm saying? This just the first little hump. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
this ain't even. This the first little hump. So from the Georgia side, for me, in order for them to come in here and execute and possibly walk out of here, I think that they need to be able to try to control this with NT and get. And I mean, you hate to say it, but get their money's worth. Like, hey man, we brought you in here to be elite. And I mean, the figures wasn't stated, but let's be clear. I'm sure.
Yeah,
it was a pretty penny to get him. You know what I'm saying? To get him to go to his rival.
Yep.
Like, I mean, once you factor that in too, like to come to his rival, I'm sure it was a pretty penny to get him to come up there. So
certainly it was.
From the Georgia side, that's how I feel now. I'll let you go second on the Bama side. From the Bama side, I'm liking the way that they are starting to finally settle in and use Milroe. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, look, you know what he is. Let's develop around that, which they are seeming to. They have slowly seemed to implement that and seem to do, because, like you said, in each game he's had touchdowns both with his legs and with his arm. You know what I'm saying? So obviously they found something that they like, and they are using them in multiple ways. So continue to build on that. And on the opposite side, shut Georgia's run game down and force them in the air. Force them in the air and see and make them one-dimensional. I think that because once the crowd gets involved, no matter how anybody may or may not feel about Alabama, when that crowd gets involved and they can actually turn you into a one-dimensional team, lights out.
Yep.
And we've seen that in the past, and I mean, ain't nothing. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. I think for me, I echo your sentiments about Milroe. It feel like to me, man, if he was playing quarterback anywhere other than Alabama, he'd be all over the place talking about the Heisman front runner and all this, man. His numbers so far have been pretty incredible, man. And obviously we have not played Georgia yet, so but against the guys we played against, he's played extremely well. So I think just continue to lean into that. Our O-line is healthy. I think that our first team O-line is as good as any O-line in the country, man.
It is.
We struggled against South Florida, but a lot of that, if you look at it, if you watch the game, you got 2 touchdowns taken off the board because of holding penalties. Man, it just stuff that
what could go wrong went wrong in that game.
Everything went wrong, and at the end of the game, the final was still 42-16. Definitely not indicative of how close it was all game, but it was close because we didn't play to the Bama standard. So Kirby's 1-5 against us as head coach of Georgia, and that's for a reason, man. Kirby seems to get tight when he plays against teams that got as many guys as him, man. Look at the semifinal a couple of years ago against Ohio State. Ohio State got guys. Alabama got guys. So
he took a missed field goal. He got out of that.
Man, by the skin of his teeth, man.
By the skin of his teeth.
But with Bama, man, I think that we've shown that we can be explosive. We can go 80 yards in 3 plays. But there's nothing in between. We've been doing the explosive drives, scoring touchdowns, and then we'll have 3 or 4 3 and out straight. We got to sustain drives against Georgia. You can't go 3 and out, keep the defense on the field against them. They're just too talented for that. So we got to sustain drives. Got to end drives with touchdowns, field goals. I don't believe we're going to win this game. Lean on that ground game. 26 and 22 are outstanding running backs, man. I wouldn't mind seeing both of them get about 20 carries each. Get behind that line and just play Bama football, bro. Outside we might not have and I say that I'm about to say we might not have Judy and Smitty and those types of guys, but Ryan Williams is special. This kid is special, man. I think we need to get Law involved. More Bernard is coming into his own a little bit. I think our tight end can be big in this game. We got
Law was going to me. Law was going to be the key because on the other side, if you are Georgia and you are Kirby, I mean, look, it done been beat into the damn ground. We get it. He's 17 years old.
17, right?
Okay, we get it. But I'm saying that to say if you are Kirby and you are Muschamp, it's just like, hey, this is one of those games where you hate to say it in the confines of the game. This is one of those games where you punish the kid. Like, hey, you 17 years old. We gonna chip you. We gonna run at you. We gonna, it's like you have to do those things to wear him down. So for me, Law would be the one that is like, hey, you know what? If they take the explosive down there, if we know that he's being, taken care of on this side, we're gonna have to look another route. And we're gonna need somebody else to step up in that spot because I mean they know that. I mean, look, we've been hearing about it from the beginning of the season till now. He's 17 years old. Look what he's doing. Yada yada yada. We've been hearing about it, so it's kind of like nobody up until this point has gotten physical with him. So it's like, hey, if you're Georgia, that's it. You got that negative in the back pocket. Like, hey, let's get physical with him, and then let's see if anybody else over the top can beat us. And my second thought, I'd say, as far as on the Georgia end, is last year in the SEC title game, what went unnoticed was y'all bullied them in the line of scrimmage.
Bullied them, man.
Like
from the first snap.
I'm watching the game like, y'all been hollering about y'all going year to year, recruit to recruit. This don't even make, you know what I'm saying? This don't even make this ain't even making no sense. But it's just like y'all literally bullied them off the ball. So for me, for Georgia, I'm like, hey, you hate to say it, but man up. Like can you in the trenches man up? Because we have been so programmed and trained with all the D linemen and linebackers that they've sent to the league over the last few years. But these last 2 years, man, shit even going into it, they have the stars bound, but they ain't really been living up to them stars. And like you said, a healthy or decent Bama offensive line, that's one of the best in the country right now.
Straight up. Absolutely, man. And playing that bully ball, man, is until they show that they can stop us from doing it. I mean, that's what we got to lean on, man. And it's both sides of the ball. Defensively, man, we got to tackle. We have not tackled very well. We get into the ball and allowing too many yards after contact. And I think those are things that you kind of clean up as you go throughout the season. But
it's still September, so
it's still exactly. But you miss a tackle against Etienne, you might be looking at a 60-yard touchdown. So those missed tackles against Georgia are going to hurt you a lot more than they did against Wisconsin, against South Florida, Western Kentucky. So defensively, we got to tackle, man. I think our secondary has played pretty well. We've had some busts, which is to be expected with the inexperience or inexperience in terms of guys that have not played together.
Because there's a lot of transfer. You got to mix.
You got a mixed bag of guys, man. And if we played against better quarterbacks, if we had played against somebody like Carson Beck in the weeks past, we would have given up a couple of big touchdowns, but through the air. But again, those are things that can be cleaned up as the season goes. And I think we're gonna be all locked in against Georgia. So I don't anticipate seeing any of those types of lapses. Looking across the field, and you see Kirby over there with that goofy visor on, and Georgia coming out there with guys like we got guys, man. We're not gonna miss on any assignments, man. We're gonna be locked in.
Something. This is one of those. Look, I'm almost about to put, and I don't want to because he's done it one time. Obviously, and the one time mattered the most. But I almost want to put him in a category where it's like, hey, I can't predict you to beat Alabama until I actually see you do it. Because time and time again, I've seen you on paper supposedly have the better team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we have seen that, and we have seen what that result has been. So I got one more question for you. Well, maybe two. I think I've been hearing a lot of people talking about Georgia in a game against Kentucky, and it was like, it looks this way, or the Bama game against South Florida. I'm sure you feel the same way I feel. People need to understand that you can't judge what's going to happen in this game behind that. Case in point, you was fourth in a mile against Auburn. Last play of the game. Like, hey, listen, if we don't get this is loss number 2. Everything's over with and done. But the very next week, you turn around and you beat Georgia in the Georgia Dome. So right. I caution people to say, don't look at what Georgia did against Kentucky and think that that's some type of view on what they are. And don't look at what Bama did against South Florida, because, again, like you said, you had penalties, you had multiple fumbles. I mean, you got a lot that went kind of left in that game that made the game as close as it was until once everything settled, it became what it became. How do you feel about people that are questioning what they've seen from the previous 2 games, trying to compare it to what this would be?
Yeah, I mean, just like you, man, it doesn't translate. I mean, you can get some idea, I guess, of who somebody is based on who they played previous, but I mean, the motivation gonna be different, man. Kentucky coming out of going to Kentucky, and they coming out of the locker room versus going to Alabama and they coming out of the locker room. Totally different thing, man. Kentucky is Kentucky football is the B team. We know that the big show is Kentucky basketball on that campus, right? So
we trying to get out, and they were trying to get out of it, and they still got somebody hurt.
Right, exactly.
The lineman, I think I forgot his name of the lineman. Like you went into the game trying to get in and get out, and you still ended up, getting somebody banged up in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, man. But I just think that the motivation is just gonna be different, man, for both teams. You can't. A 13-12 win over Kentucky is ugly. That should have been you would think on paper they should slaughter Kentucky every time. But
right.
Going to Kentucky, man, since Stoops has been there, ain't been no cakewalk really, man.
No. Hey, Florida
they not no pushover. They got
Hey, Florida. How's that? You know what? I'm gonna leave it alone because I ain't got no room to talk right now. So I'm gonna leave it alone.
I was about to say, man, quiet on that though. Quiet on that, bro.
I ain't got no room to talk.
Yeah, so we're not gonna talk Noles tonight, I guess.
No, we're not. Hey, this is Georgia Bama preview.
Okay, all right. But to that point, man, you like you said, you can't make a equal comparison to what happened 2 weeks ago with both of those teams, man. Those were anomalies, man. Georgia plays Kentucky 10 times. They're gonna beat them by 30 the rest of the time. So it is what it is, man. Everybody, good teams are entitled to lay an egg. The great teams win those games though when they don't play well, and that's what Georgia did, and that's what Bama did. So
and that right there is the point. That you just wrapped with that right there. That right there is the point. It doesn't matter if it's an ugly win.
Yep.
Look at how many teams across the nation, my squad included. You will take an ugly win versus the pretty loss.
Yep.
Trust me. It don't matter. You can chirp all you want about, man, they won by 1. Man, it was ugly. But guess what happened? At the end of the day, they got the W. So
that's all
I gotta put you on the spot. I'm gonna get my answer. I gotta put you on the spot.
All right.
Give me your prediction, man. Who you got?
Yeah. I knew this was coming. So in the last 6 games, we 1-5 against. We're 5-1 against Georgia. The one we lost is the national championship game when Jameson Williams got hurt. They have not been able to cover him since. But I'm not gonna say that that's the reason we lost that game, even though it was. So we should be 6-0. And in each one of those games, man, going in, folks are trying to say that Kirby is coming for the old man's throne, and it's Georgia's time. They're gonna beat Bama. They got this. They got that. And every one of those games, I said, man, they're not going to beat us. We're going to beat these guys. We're going to handle them. Ain't no problem. I'm not worried about Georgia. my sentiments are the exact same. Different coach on our side, but same old Bama, and same old Georgia and Kirby, bro. Until they beat us, I can't believe them. They're a paper champion until they can actually beat us, man. So with all that said, you knew I was gonna pick the Tide, but I think it's gonna be a battle in the first half. And I think that we're gonna hit them with some explosives and kind of wear them down late in the game. I got Bama 38, Georgia 24. Roll Tide, roll.
And you know what, Georgia? Listen, I jumped out the window. I did it. I jumped out the window, both feet, Tim's on. Hey, man, look, man, I did. And even when you look into the way things are shaping up this year for Georgia, I just feel like they wasted a golden opportunity last year. They had the easiest schedule in the nation. Yeah. And they literally knew they only had one game they really was going to have to worry about if it came to fruit. And when one game said came to fruit, they choked again.
Yep.
And then they was on the outside looking in because nobody respected that damn schedule. Nobody respected it. And then whereas now you bring forward the schedule that they got this year, now they got to earn it. And for me, everybody knows my opinions and my thoughts on how I feel about Alabama. But until I see it, I can't go. It's a home game in Tuscaloosa. Everybody literally, for the most part, has said that Georgia is there now. I'm like, when they keep saying, did y'all look at their schedule? Like, brother, they literally played the four damn favorites in the other four favorites in the conference, and y'all think that they finna manage to. I don't look, for me, I hold my feet to the fire. I got it being a little more low scoring. I got Bama pulling this out 27-24. That's me. And I know it. And look, don't get me wrong. If Georgia pulled this out, I would give them all the credit in the world. But until I see them actually do it, man, I ain't seen them do it when they pretty much had the home field advantage because they keep playing in Atlanta and messing it up.
Right.
You don't get no more home field than that.
Nope.
Athens from Atlanta, like what, 40, 50 minutes? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's in their backyard, man.
It's in their backyard, and we've seen them time and time again blow it, man. So, BB, I thank you 1,000 times over, man, for coming on the show, man. Listen, this will not be the only time I have you on. I just wanted to bring you on. I wanted to wait to bring you on for one of the biggest games, for one of the biggest games of the year. We're going to keep having a few more of these as it keeps going, man. So I appreciate you 1,001 times for coming on to the show, man.
Anytime,
and like
man.
I tell everybody, man, look, follow the Post Network. It's on the Roku app, man. Continue to follow the show, like and subscribe, man. And live, laugh, and love, man. Live your life to the fullest. Love on the people that love you back and find you something to laugh at each and every day. And we out, man.
Straight up. Roll Tide.